Alzheimer's is not a funny subject, but today we are lucky to be joined by two very funny people who know how to bring some humor and a lot of heart to even the most difficult topics. Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller Rogen, the founders of Hilarity for Charity, a nonprofit dedicated to raising awareness around Alzheimer's and working to care for the families impacted by the disease.
I have never really been a big fan of celebrities getting involved in policy and politics, but for this one I appreciate it. Thank you both for what you do and using your star power for something incredibly specific and productive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Lee, thank you to the two of you for putting very important attention on this issue that does not get talked about in popular culture, but almost all of us deal with it. You know, those of us, we live in a big city and we work so hard to have a good public transportation system. Well, when you've got a family member with Alzheimer's, they can walk out the street, board a bus and a train, and it is one of the most terrifying things that you can ever experience. And there aren't a lot of places to go for help. Folks in my office right now are looking for day and nighttime care, and the price tag they're getting back is $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month. This is right after you just got done paying for college for kids, which has also gone through the roof. And so it's one of the big affordability issues and livability issues that doesn't get nearly enough attention. So I thank you for taking the time to come and share with us and all that you've done. And on behalf of the council, I'll apologize for Mr. Soto-Martinez. Mr. Rogen, he was trying out his one-liners just in case you needed someone to play a councilman in your next film. Thank you so much. Councilmember Rahman.
Thank you, Councilmember McOsker, for this honor for our Chief Deputy Controller, Rick Cole. Rick Cole has been in government for longer than I've been alive. I point this out not to highlight our obvious age difference, but to speak to his over 40 years of public service to the greater Los Angeles region. When Rick got elected to the Pasadena City Council, he was elected at 29 years old. He might have seen a little bit of himself when we ran for office. And I was so surprised when Rick reached out to me because as a young candidate and when I was running for controller, we had no endorsements, no one knew who we were, and he was actually the only one in City Hall or part of any political establishment to endorse us and help us. And we ended up, actually, thanks to Rick, we ended up getting 513,000 votes. So Rick, I appreciate your support. But who's counting? Yeah, exactly.
Now, after 4 decades of public service, I have never been more alarmed about our future. You know the converging crises facing this city. A state of emergency on homelessness, a devastating firestorm, thousands of city jobs eliminated, a crisis of affordable housing, and a federal administration literally at war with the government and the people of Los Angeles. Those are the headlines, but there are also the insidious threats of a weakening economy, a crumbling infrastructure, grotesque inequality of income, and a failing public trust in government's ability to confront these existential challenges. If we can't pave our streets, repair our sidewalks, house our homeless, trim our trees, light our bridges, and fix our fire trucks, how can we host an Olympics in 3 years? LA is a complex city of 4 million people, over 400 square miles, more than 40 departments, more than 40,000 city staff. On a good day, it's an incredibly difficult city to manage, and we haven't had very many good days lately. This is a moment of truth. I know some people say, well, you know, LA's had hard times before. We can come through this. We'll be better than ever. It's tempting to rely on our resilience, to hope that this too shall pass. But that's not the world we live in. Hope is not a plan. 2 months ago in these chambers, Mayor Bass recognized the gravity of this moment, and she said, we need a fundamental overhaul of city government to deliver the clean, safe, and orderly neighborhoods that Angelenos deserve in the place they call home, and to reverse decades of failure on homelessness. She's right. That is exactly what we need, a complete overhaul of city government, bold, systemic change. It's time to redesign LA to actually work. Mayors need a chief operating officer to work across department silos. We need rigorous, innovative, citywide management. That's why cities like Long Beach, Glendale, Santa Monica, Pasadena, West Hollywood deliver services more effectively and efficiently. Your department managers need to be freed from micromanagement. Empower them to actually run their departments so you can hold them accountable for the job they're paid to do. LA obviously needs a chief financial officer to put its house in order, its fiscal house in order. We need a 2-year budget and a real 5-year capital plan. It's time to shift from base budgeting to performance budgeting. Allocate resources to what works, away from what doesn't. It's not rocket science.
And, you know, I gotta say, this, we're so busy in council with so many things going on, but you do have an ability to sort of shake us out of our rut. And I see Councilmember nodding his head. Every time you spoke at PAW, you sort of allowed me to reflect on the city in a way that most people are not able to do that with me. You're doing it here today. And I just want to say that is a gift and a talent that is pretty rare, and I want to acknowledge that in front of everybody here today. It's a moment for us to reflect about what we're actually doing in the city and try to create the North Star again. And so I am going to miss that about you, but I have no doubts that it sounds like you've retired a couple times from here. So maybe this won't be the last time. I think you'll continue to be a leader in this region. And again, just thank you so much for everything you've done for folks, and everything you've contributed to the city. I'm sure we'll cross paths many more times. Thank you, Rick.
We have one more nugget of coal.
I couldn't leave the podium without introducing another public servant in our family, my sister, who's been a docent at the zoo for 31 years, Lisa Milne. I was inspired to come back to City Hall by Kenneth Mejia, and the next generation inspire me. To all the staffers around this dais, it's an incredible privilege to work in this building, and you don't know where your paths will lead you, but it has been an incredibly gratifying career for me to be in public service, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you. And on behalf of all of us, Rick, we have this beautiful certificate to you with all of the many lovely things you've done for us. And please come forward so everyone can get a picture. Let's go right. Down. Here we go.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, I rise today carrying the sorrow of our community and the responsibility to protect those who make our city whole. On June 6, 14 garment workers, fathers, sons, uncles, brothers, were forcibly detained by ICE during a raid at their workplace. These men, many of them indigenous Zapotec, are beloved members of their communities and vital threads in the fabric of Los Angeles. They are part of an industry built on the labor of immigrants and too often repaid with wage theft, unsafe conditions, and retaliation. Their names are Tomas, Juan Fernando, Jose Paulino, Jacob, Miguel, Oscar, Uriel, Lazaro, Filimon, Ismael, Reynaldo, Luis, Mario, y Jorge. That day, their workplace became a place of nightmares. These men were taken without explanation, and their families were left without answers. But the community did not stay silent. Advocates stood outside the warehouse for hours, shouting legal advice through the walls, refusing to leave and showing the kind of solidarity that keeps our communities safe and whole. Among them was David Huerta of SEIU, a champion for working people who has spent his life defending others. Today, I'm honored to welcome a family member of one of the 14 men, someone whose life has been upended and who brings with them not only grief, but also resilience. Their presence here today is more than personal. It is an act of courage, of truth and resistance, and I ask that we listen with open hearts. Please join me in welcome Uriel, who will now share her story.
Hello, my name is Yurien, daughter of Mario, who was kidnapped by ICE on June 6, 2025 at Ambience Warehouse. I'm here today on behalf of my father and 14 indigenous Zapotec Ambience workers who were kidnapped by ICE on June 6, 2025. My siblings, ranging from 4 months to 20 years, and I need our father, especially my 4-year-old brother, who has a disability and asks us about his dad. What happened that day was a very traumatic experience. Watching my father be taken away and chained by hands, feet, and waist, unable to do anything, was horrible. Little did we know it was only the beginning of the inhumane conditions they would all endure. After my father was detained at the Ambience location, we couldn't locate my father for a week. We were worried that we could not find my father, and when we were able to find him, we found my dad in the worst conditions no human should ever go through. My father was in the same clothes from when I last saw him. He was given no medicine and little to no food. As I speak to you right now, my father is caged with over 80 people, and I don't even know if he has eaten today. The conditions are horrible, and my father cannot access legal counsel, even though there are lawyers ready to support my father and other folks that are detained. I was lucky to find my father, but other members of our community cannot find them. My daughter turned 2 years old on Monday, and I couldn't help but feel deep sadness and anger because they ripped my dad apart from us and the horrible conditions he is in. My dad is a father, a grandfather, a contributing member of this community. Our communities do not deserve to be racially profiled, haunted, and kidnapped. I call on all elected officials from LA Mayor Bass to local law and statewide representatives, officials to step up to continue defending LA's status as a sanctuary city by prohibiting any collaboration or protection of immigration enforcement by local law enforcement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Jurado, and thank you for the courage to stand up and tell your story to us and to everyone watching.
Thank you. Let's start with item number 1. 道不尽红尘奢恋，诉不完人间恩怨，世世代代都是缘，流着相同的血，喝着相同的水，这条路漫漫又长远。红花当然配绿叶，这一辈子谁来陪？茫茫茫茫缘又回，往日情景再浮现，藕虽断了丝还连，轻叹世间事多变迁。Move on to item number 2. 爱江山更爱美人，那个英雄好汉宁愿孤单，好儿郎浑身是胆，壮志豪情四海远名扬。人生短短几个秋 啊，不醉不罢休。东边我的美人，那西边黄河流。来呀，来个酒啊，不醉不罢休。愁情烦事别放心头，嗨呀嗨个酒啊，那一出难不透。Let's move on to item number 3. 我确定我就是那一只披着羊皮的狼，而你是我的猎物，是我嘴里的羔羊。我抛却同伴独自流浪，就是不愿别人把你分享。我确定这一辈子都会在你身旁，带着火热的心随你到任何地方。你让我痴，让我狂，爱你的号角还在山谷。我确定你就是我心中如花的羔羊，你是我的天使，是我的梦想。
General public comment.
Thank you. I'm here. I want to speak to our community leader, Mr. Herman, and our community leader, law attorney, Mr. Spindler. I want to have a chance to stay in city of LA, and I want to make sure, city attorney, can you please do not deport me? I want to make sure that our council president, Harris-Dawson, can you please do not deport me? Because our council president, Harris-Dawson, made it very clear he is going to protect every single black illegal immigrants. But however, I am Caucasian, so I want to make sure our city attorney, can you please protect every single law-abiding Caucasian illegal immigrants, because we deserve to live in the city, we deserve to have free food, free housing, free healthcare, free prostitute, and then free Figueroa services. So please do not deport me. I want to stay smoking scan. I want to stay. Allow me a chance to stay smoking scan, please.
Speaker, your time has expired.
So we have a couple motions here on several bids that, frankly, I know for a fact haven't met. In fact, one of them hasn't even met for a quarter. Now, how can you possibly vote on motions that your bid hasn't even met to offer public comment for people to actually file their grievances? How can you possibly take any sort of vote when you haven't even contacted the neighborhood council for which these bids are in the same district as, and they still acknowledge that they haven't met, and you're trying to vote on a motion that has to do with the bid and whether you can trust in their confidence that they're actually executing the will of the people? How is it that you have bids like Hollywood bid that literally do not meet for over a quarter, and yet at the same time, right, at the same time, you're still allowing them to go and have motions here before the council? How is it that a bid can still have a motion that you are agreeing to or not agreeing to today when they have not met to even take public comment, which is the whole point of the city council and the neighborhood councils as well? We're going to talk next about some of the housing items on the agenda today. If you haven't heard, all right, if you haven't heard, there was an order made on the receivership. And guess what Carter said today on the receivership? Carter said, screw your receivership. You're going to report to the court for a minimum of 5 years. I want to see exactly what you do on a quarterly basis. I trust none of you corrupt assholes. And for that, right, for that, the people are now seeing exactly which of you guys have nonprofit involvement, which of these assessorships are legitimate or not, and how many people are in any of these assessorships or not. How many people are actually constituted in a unit, how many beds are in a unit, and what even is the definition of a bed, right? That's what Judge Carter said.
So I'm looking at the agenda. This does not appear to be related to any of the items that are open. You can speak to it during general, but please stick to the items.
Item 36 is yet another assessorship, yet another item that was on the Judge O'Carter case for a fraud, right, for homeless fraud in the city of LA. And you know what Carter said to that extent? Here's what Carter said. Carter said, fuck the city council and fuck the Los Angeles.
Okay, so this is your final warning. Item 36 is a REAP item, a rent escrow account program item. So if you'd like to continue speaking to this, you can during general, but stick to the items for the next 43 seconds.
That's fine. Can you at least give me back the 12 seconds? So you're not giving me, all right, so I'll take that yet as another prior restraint on my public comment here today. And I'm on your ass, City Attorney. You know I'm on your ass about those complaints, and you know I'm going to come
So I'm
forward
going to
with
move you
those
to general
civil
public
claims.
comment. You've been warned 3 times now. You have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
So again, why are we here today, right? We are here today because Marchese is arguing with the staffers on what criteria is constituted as the sexiest man alive in the city of Los Angeles, and his staffers are annoyed, right? The staffers are annoyed that Marchese is getting to these sort of arguments, right? This is the type of stuff that Marchese does with his staffers. And how do I know this? Well, because your staffers tell me, Marchese. How about you go and stop arguing with your staffers, stop having choice words with them, and instead do your job, Marchese. Like, for example, not restrict my public comment when I'm trying to talk to the mayor of Bass over a secret meeting that she has behind the council chambers here that you don't even allow people to get into unless they specifically know it's in that hallway, right? How about you do that, Marchese? How about you do that? How about instead of arguing with your staffers over dumb shit like what makes the sexiest man alive, right, you instead do that, Marchese. How about that? How about you stop complaining to your staffers and you do that, Marchese, all right? How's that for knowing which of you guys have snitches on the inside? And for that, I'm going to be reporting on the Judge Carter case. Fuck the city council. And Hugo still can't look me in the eyes. Fuck you too, Hugo.
Okay, well, 1 and 2 deals with streets and everything, and I just want to say that when it comes to working on streets or anything dealing with streets, just a reminder that people cannot be earning slave wages when they're dealing with streets. And I don't think you guys do enough to really make sure that there's not any kind of labor trafficking when it coming dealing with streets, because I see all the time on L. Ron Hubbard Way, and this is a comparison, that I see people who are getting slave wages working on a public street. And I don't know how that's allowed. I keep hearing there's a MOU for them for Scientology to be able to maintain that street.
Yeah,
But streets are streets, right? Well, with number 1 and 2, right, we're dealing with streets. And I
The
just want to make
creation
sure.
of business improvement districts. So you can speak to that during general, but I'm going to ask you to stick to the items first.
Business improvement, that's another thing that they're involved with, because with the business improvement district, there should be a rule that they have to be in good standing, okay? If you're on a business improvement district, if you have a seat, right, you should not have cases against you that involve child brides or RICO, civilian RICO, I would think. Because now the East Hollywood bid, they have a Scientologist, the Scientology has a seat on that bid, and they are in court right now on a child bride case. Imagine a child bride, not volunteering, but, whatever. And then a civilian RICO case. So why are they on a bid? Are you guys monitoring who seats on these bids and if they're in good standing? Like, we wouldn't want, criminals or anyone, who, does bad things on our bids, right? Because we need to feel safe. So anyone that would have RICO cases against them, I don't feel safe having them on my bid. Now, as for the other ones, the 44 or 45 with the seniors, I see that you're trying to do health care for seniors, which is great. But do you know that there's a lot of seniors trapped in the Blue Building in different areas with Church of Scientology? Although you're not allowed to die in there, they don't allow people to die in there, so they move them to they have like a hospice a few blocks away, which is a very sad place. Because after the Lisa McPherson case, Miscavige basically decided that no one's going to die at a flag org or flagship, and that's the big Blue Building. So they had to be put elsewhere to die. But they don't believe in proper medication or proper, anything medical. So I hope that this, whatever you're doing with 44 and 45, that you would make sure that these seniors are covered, because nobody should have to have any, not be cared for after they gave their lives to this organization. Some would call a cult. I would, but I'll be nice. But, they should be cared for.
Thank you for getting back on the items. You'll now have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'd like to shout out to Smoke and Scan, because Smoke and Scan and I are very, very concerned about this randomizer. We don't believe it exists. And Mr. City Attorney, you and I spoke about this briefly in the hall yesterday. Smoke and Scan and I do not believe it exists. And if it does exist, it's calibrated wrong, or there's some kind of shenanigans, because we tested it. I probably need more coffee. And we put in maybe 50 different names, okay? And just to test it, because we keep not getting called. Whenever the unions are here, none of the gadflies really are called. And I'm just calling us gadflies out of, like, affection. But so 50 names were put into this randomizer, and not one of them were called. That's a little bit weird to me. So I am going to be filing a complaint. I am going to be looking into it deeper, because Smoke and Scan we're on the prowl. We are investigating this. This is Team Smoke and Scan and we want that randomizer fixed.
Speaker, your time has expired. Just as an announcement or request to members of the public, please do not put in multiple names to sign up under multiple names. Again, it will decrease the chances that people who follow the rules and only enter one name will have the opportunity to speak. The purpose of the randomizer is to give everybody the equal opportunity of being selected at any given meeting. Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public.
Mr. Spindler and this man in the shrimp T-shirt, I'll kindly ask you to take your seats. It's very distracting to hear the great words that Mr. Herman is going to say.
And with that, you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Wow, look at this RV parking with Hut and Beach this morning, right, Miss Augustine? It was amazing. It's amazing that we have alleged violations against veterans who use their motorhomes and their trailers attached as a Housing Accountability Act. You are so disgraceful. That's number 47, jackass. Are you looking good? Then, dickhead, on item number 1, 2, and 3, I'll start off on number 1, dick.
So 47 is not open for public comment. So you were off topic. You said 47 earlier. I'm clarifying for you. Please stick to the agenda items, or I'm going to move you to general public comment. Go ahead.
Dickhead, I'm on LA Improvement District. Fuck you on item number 1. Item number 2, another improvement district on item 2 in CD10. Fuck you and fuck Hut 2. And Herb Wesson. Look at item 3, dick face with the pimples on your face. Oh, dog eater. Business Improvement District. The close of a hearing and will be publicly live streamed. What's live stream, dickhead? My voice is live streamed. Thank you, Smoke and Scan. Let's go into the housings. Those 7 items on housing, dick face. Let's take in 1. Item number 30, dick face. Fucking communication from the fucking bastard of the Los Angeles Housing Department. Thank you for the resolution, David O. Carter. Yes, we will monitor LA. We will monitor housing.
So as was explained to the previous speaker, these are REAP items. They are rent escrow account program items. It has nothing to do with the LA Alliance case and Judge
items,
Carter.
Look at here, dick face. Another motion by the fucking racist Soto-Martinez and oh yeah, relative amending for fucking council action, June 10th, 2025. CF for cunt fuckers, 250588. District CD 13, suck a big one like the one in my flyer I had earlier. But let's go on. Recommendation, council, bitch, mayor's approval when we're in a budget crisis. But to amend this shit, Smoke and Scan, you got it. What does the nigger know? Yep, I'll tell you. To clarify 438, to transfer the appropriations to white nigger council portion projects. Item, general city purpose, fuck you. Now to my general public comment.
General public comment.
US 395, 444, 1969, a dirty nigger LA. LA is the racist dirty nigger council of 15 dirty niggers and 2 specific dirty niggers who brought emotional harm and stress to veterans. Thank you, cock-a-doodle-doo Bob Bloomfield and fucking dumb hag, pinche pioja puta mexicana tonta babosa idiota. Noodle pra, right? Where's Price? Miss Hut. Where is Miss Hut? I want to talk about her real name, Agostina. I want to talk about Augustina's relationship with Price and his second fucking wife and their criminal enterprise with you, Mr. Dawson. You guys got a little click, huh? I can't wait when the FBI roll up on your ass, nigga. And those motherfuckers ain't playing games like they did to that Florida fucking judge. The DOJ arrested that motherfucker, Edward Chen. Fuck you.
And your time has expired. If we hear you again, you will be subject to Rule 7 and Rule 12, which means a warning and potential removal from the meeting. Expect you to be silent for the rest of the meeting and to not disrupt this meeting. Speaker, before you begin, for anybody who's tuning in for the first time, I apologize for the words that you just heard and the words you might hear moving forward. They do not reflect the view of this city. They do not reflect the view of this body. They do not reflect the view of anyone around this horseshoe. We appreciate your patience. The goals, I can only imagine, is to antagonize not only us, but the members of the public. The quickest way and the easiest way to get through this is to just let it play out. So we apologize. Again, we appreciate all of your patience to the listeners remotely and to the people in the room.
First, good morning to the council. Now, I have a problem. LA is not a safe place. First, in Los Angeles, the RD is 124. Yesterday, I don't know if it was pickpocket or 211. I had my phone due to severe laziness this way because I didn't want to dive too far. In any case, I was sitting on the bike at an intersection. A guy comes up to me, all black, my height, approximately skinny, 160, with a Union purple shirt. I need some money, very aggressive. I'm like, I'm broke. Need it. And I didn't dawn on me. When he reached here, he pulled out. I had to go in pursuit. I got the wallet phone back, but he took some money. But the point is, what are we going to do about these people? The Olympics are coming. We're going to have a lot of people getting ripped off, and it ain't right. I realize that's the border of Skid Row, but still, it's LA City, and something needs to be done to stop the BS. I'm hoping we can do something about it. And then the second issue is, I'm glad the hotel and the Universal's not coming up. Have a good day, Cami.
Incompetent Mayor Karen Bass and council members, you were elected to fix Los Angeles, not to do media tours. Stop glorifying illegal alien criminals at the expense of LA's legal residents. Stop vilifying our law enforcement officers. Mayor Bass, every time you open your mouth on TV, you bring shame to this city and showcase your collective incompetence on the world stage. We all watch you call your sponsored terrorist peaceful protesters while they destroyed the city for 7 days. Mayor Bass, your demonization of ICE officers must stop before it results in injury or death. You have compared lawful arrests to kidnapping and terrorism. To protect the murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and gang members you refuse to turn over. Deportation orders are issued by federal judges, not by ICE officers. That was the law under President Obama, Biden, and now our magnanimous President Trump.
I signed up as Eric R. I'll speak to all items and general public comment.
Okay, good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to start off with item number 37, I think it is. So we have a few items from Staffer B. They're kind of interesting, actually. It looks like you're actually taking money away from the police. That's actually good if that's what that is. Do more of it. Take money away from the LAPD. Give it towards other things that actually keep people safe. Okay, we have item 40, which is lighting up City Hall in recognition of the, I guess, the victims of the Pulse nightclub fire in North Macedonia. This is from June 10th, I guess. So you're doing this like 15 days late, something like that, after it already happened. So what is this city going to do otherwise to help the people of North Macedonia? That's a good question. Donating some funds or just lighting up City Hall to make it look like, I don't know. We have item 41 for various community projects and programs in Valley Village and CD2. Hopefully these are good stuff and not bad stuff. We have item 42, the funding for services in connection with LA Pride. So I guess it's good that you're doing that. Of course, as always, the LAPD continues brutalizing members of the LGBTQ community, and you do absolutely nothing about it. We have item, let's see. So we have, let's go to general public comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, Ulysses, turning her back to me right now. Why was your chief of staff, calling protesters at an ICE raid cops last week? It sounds like that was happening, Ulysses. Your chief of staff was accusing protesters at an ICE raid of being cops. People protesting these violent kidnappings by masked, these violent extremist ICE agents in plain clothes and ski masks who won't identify themselves or anything. None of you do anything, or actually really doing anything here. You do these little, recognitions of the impacts it's causing, but meanwhile, the LAPD is continuing to assist ICE. They just did yesterday, just not too far from here in downtown. They're assisting ICE again, brutalizing protesters, and you all say nothing, do absolutely nothing about it. Cancel your recess.
I will speak to the public at this clown show of incompetence on all available items and general comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Item 1, 2, and 3 are the establishment of so-called business improvement districts. In my opinion, the funding should come from the multi-billion-dollar budget and not the people. Is anybody out there stupid enough to believe that demonic Tracy Park or illegitimately appointed incompetent Heather the Hut are indicted criminal out on bail Kern Price or dimwit Nithian Raman, who has done nothing but purchase new clothing outfits, knows how to increase business commerce in these areas? In my opinion, increasing true business commerce is critical to the cities and job creation. However, taxing the businesses through these ordinances of business improvement districts is worthless because the demonic Tracy Park, illegitimately appointed incompetent Heather the Hut, indicted criminal out on bail Kern Price and dimwit Nithya Raman have no clue of how to use the funds to improve business. The money will simply go into the general fund for these blithering idiots to waste by giving it to the LAPD or themselves, embezzling indicted Kern Price and sleazy Marquise Dawson. 30 to 36 is for the removal of properties from the REAP account. In my opinion, the REAP account funds collected should be returned to the property owners and funded by the $1 billion these blithering, incompetent, self-serving, corrupt idiots Tim McCosker gave the LA Police Department last year, bankrupting the city into a $1 billion deficit. In my opinion, all REAP funds for these properties should be investigated by the Attorney General as to why sleazy Marquise Dawson and indicted Kern Price are embezzling and funneling REAP account funds into their favorite contractors' pockets for kickbacks into their own pockets. 37, 38, 39 is ethics violating indicted racist Asian John Lee to give another $250,000 to the LAPD for overtime. John Lee has to be the dumbest racist Asian on the planet, and these motions he and his clown council are going to give hundreds of thousands more money to the LAPD after voting for the $1 billion LAPD budget increase that put our city in the current billion-dollar deficit emergency, where 650,000 city workers are projected to lose their jobs in public services. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Item 40 is for the Dimwit Raman and Soto-Martinez special recognition of the Post nightclub fire. They are hypocrites when they bid absolutely nothing to prevent the city burning down with $256 billion in fire damage. In my opinion, and all of the items should receive a no vote if indicted out on bail, embezzling polygamous Kern Price and criminally insane Dawson are general public comment. This LA Council is an incompetent, corrupt enterprise of organized crime. $1 billion budget emergency, homeless epidemic emergency, $275 billion fire damage, with 16,000 structures and 6,000 homes burned emergency. The Attorney General, the FBI, and IRS currently in a massive investigation of our corrupt, sleazy city governments misappropriation of billions in homeless funds. The good news, Dawson and his crew are going to jail. Karen Bass, deputy mayor for public safety, indicted for making bomb threats. Kern Price, indicted, currently on trial. Mark, the 30-year pimp Ridley Thomas, convicted. Racist Asian John Lee, indicted for ethics violations. Urin Martinez, Gilbert Cedillo, and Kevin Leon, ousted for insane racism. Jose Huizar, 12 years. Sleazy Marquise Dawson, currently under investigation. Councilman Englander.
Next speaker. So, Mr. Spindler, if you'd like to speak, I need you to make your way to the podium expeditiously. Otherwise, I'm going to warn you for disrupting this meeting because we need to move on. So, you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
All right. Now, let's see here. City 11. We have Tracy Park, formerly known as Tracy Beach, in the court system. So let's see here. This is Article 13. Let's see here. In Article 13, Bob, what is an Article 13? That's a court-martial, but I don't think we're talking about that. No, we're talking
Which item are you speaking
taxes.
to?
I'm talking about number 1, crazy fucking nigga. Now, we're going to have a live stream for ballots. Let's give Tracy Park a hand at her transparency. This is very good. That's right. And we're going to count the ballots. I have good news. You defeated it, but the bad news is because they're counting it, you lose. That's right. Then we get number 2. The illustrious Heather Augustine of the 10th District is doing another Article 13D as well. Sit there feeding her family off of the backs of the middle class. Why? Why are you taxing people who are poor over there south of the 10 freeway? Nobody got no money there. Say no. And then number 3, Hamburger Hernandez is also doing the same crime. But I got good news. I will trade this sandwich if you'll take item 3 off of the ballot. I will give you this food. Come and eat. I got your food. No? All right. Must be on a diet. Now we gonna get some more shit. Let's see here. Because it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm just another food. Number CD2 and number 30. Why, that is the Armenian goat herder 2.0. And of course, it's a rent escrow. Congratulations on being emancipated 31. Also, the evil Tracy Beach, known as Tracy Park, getting her landlord rejected off of the assessor rolls. Good job. Just remember, everybody, if you have cockroaches in your bathroom and your boss is your landlord, all you got to do, the landlord, is do 3 things. You got to pay off the council member, pay off the building inspector, and donate to the various nonprofits on the list. Available on www.bobbleemanbleeldisasnitch.net. You want to check that out. And then we have number 33, KKK Slosky. The worst thing to happen to Jews since Donald Trump bombed Iran.
That is not on the agenda. This is your only warning. You're on general public comment.
Can I have my public comment? All right. So now, today, Judge Carter stabbed me in the back. My Vietnam veteran brother stabbed me in the back. He's letting Nithya keep control of all that nonprofit slush fund money. That means I'm not going to shut you down. My brother, you have turned your back on me. Now I'm going to have to expose on Friday something I know about. I didn't want to talk about it, but I got to tell the truth. And then remember, the indicted one, Kern DeMille Price Jr., goes back to court in August with his 5th new judge, Judge Cole. Let's give him a hand. So you see, Judge Cohen is the new judge. He used to be a gang prosecutor, Price. I don't think you want him as your judge. You might get fucking 7 years. I
And your time has expired. Next speaker.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names.
All right, hold on. Before you call the names, Mr. Spindler, this is your first and only formal warning. Do not yell out while staff are trying to make announcements aloud to the room. If you do it again, you'll be subject to Council Rules 7 and 12 and potentially removed. I'm sorry, staffer. Go ahead.
August Willich, Damon, Alfred Vasquez, Karen Peterson, Smoke and Scan, and Antonio Ramirez.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
We'll just say all items and general comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with item 43. This is a no-bid lease contract with an organization called North Valley Caring Services. This is an organization, a 501c3 nonprofit that supports unhoused residents with things like food, showers, clean clothes, and safe overnight parking. This is a noble mission, obviously, but it's a little frustrating that rather than dealing with the cause of these issues, this body would prefer to deal with the symptoms and funnel more money into administrative salaries and subsidized 501c3s. Safe parking in particular caught my attention because we keep having motions on our agenda to create more no overnight parking zones. So while this body further pushes unhoused residents who live in their cars to the fringes, then we're funneling money into a 501c3 that offers safe parking. Why don't we just offer safe parking? And why doesn't this organization have to bid? I don't know if it's unique. A food pantry and unhoused resident services, there's a lot of those. Maybe another one would give us a better deal. There's also motions on this agenda regarding the Los Angeles Department of Aging related to health care, new accounts and appropriations to fund services for our esteemed residents, the senior citizen population. Again, we have this issue of unhoused, the fastest growing population of unhoused residents right now are senior citizens. I have a neighbor who lives on Social Security and she is struggling and she deals with harassment from our landlord. And again, rather than dealing with the cause, this organization would rather put a Band-Aid on the symptom and then expect things to change, but it ends up costing us more money over time. And our citizens, our esteemed residents, they deserve better. We had celebrities up here earlier talking about Alzheimer's, and there was a remark about, oh, even though they're dealing with hard things, they get to laugh sometimes. I guess if they're wealthy, they might get to laugh. A lot of senior citizens dealing with Alzheimer's are also poor, and their families are struggling to get their basic needs met. So these are just, it's good that we're addressing these things, but it's a matter of how are we addressing them? Are we dealing with causes or symptoms? We're really only dealing with symptoms and then wondering where's all our money going? We also have several rent escrow account program items. Someone, I don't remember if it was Daniel Gus or Eric Previn, said over the phone, we don't hear from them anymore because we don't have phone comments. They said REAP clearly works. I have to say, with as often as we see it on the agenda, it seems like it doesn't. It doesn't seem like it's a deterrent for bad actors as far as landlords go. And it's also shitty for tenants who have to pay for what they're not getting.
General public comment.
We're in a fiscal emergency. We're in a fiscal emergency. The mayor said the controller was wrong. He was right all along. Why weren't you listening to what he was projecting? Your revenue forecast was wrong. Now all our money's gone. This fiscal emergency is a lack of competency, and we can't pretend you didn't cause this. It's really all your fault that these layoffs are occurring, and we're suffering because we've seen you lie way too many times while our unhoused neighbors die. It is a crime. You party on our dime while we struggle to survive. Shout out Smoke and Scan, and fuck you all sincerely.
All right, that concludes public comment for today's meetings. Madam Clerk?
But if you are here for the Business Improvement District, okay, so
You're
George,
disrupting the
your
meeting.
first-
Please stop.
and only formal warning, please do not disrupt the instructions I'm trying to give to the audience. So if you are here